We can safely say that women are just not ready to face the wall, despite what they commonly say. And what is the wall? It's not a real or literal wall. It's actually a point in time when a woman passes her peak in terms of beauty, prime, and SMV. This is an idea that has gained popularity in the past decade. It's something that men and women have always known, but it wasn't as openly discussed before as it is now. There are women who will absolutely agree to this, and then there will be some who will totally deny this. Women in their 30s hit the wall. Their value in the scale of desirability drops by significant levels. However much women deny this, they can't deny the laws of biology. Many women in their early 30s have over 2 decades of reliable experience attracting men's attention. Men as young as their early 20s and as old as their 50s and 60s have and will always want to date women in their prime. Many women have told me stories about how when they were in their mid-20s, shady 50-year-old men would hit on them. And when they became 25, high school lads would try to convince them to go out on dates with them. The world is open to us men in this regard, but not to women. This is because women are at their life's peak in their 20s, and that value for them starts to decline in their 20s. While for men, they start to peak after their 30s, and their value only increases up until their 50s. Most women can easily attract the attention of men of any age when they are in their 20s, but beyond the age of 30 to 35, when their appearance starts to deteriorate, the attention of teenagers, 20-somethings, and even men of their own age starts to fade as they start to focus on younger women instead. Many women believe that the men in their age groups don't treat them fairly. Women who are 35 years old question why guys their age don't want to date and marry them. The truth of the matter is that a 35-year-old man with a job, money, and a car can entice younger, more attractive women in their 20s. Most men need a year or two to get to know a woman before becoming engaged and then getting married. As a result, if a guy marries a 35-year-old woman after going through this process, she won't give birth until she's 38, which will significantly reduce her odds of having children. A woman in her early to mid-30s must begin considering men in their late 30s, 40s, and perhaps even 50s as potential suitors. Many of these older men are now the only ones left on the market because they have already had children and marriages. If these men are divorced, they likely already have children, and they might want a second wife. Some of the mid-30s women I know don't seem to want to accept this. They claim that only older men are looking at them, and they find it repulsive. These same ladies spent their 20s hopping from one fling to another, and now they're confused about what happened. They didn't anticipate finding themselves in this situation, and things weren't supposed to turn out this way. Many of them find it shocking that men select women rather than women selecting men. It's challenging for women to accept that they aren't being pursued in the same way they once were since the natural order of relationships has been turned in favor of males. That only a small percentage of guys who have been physically burned by women have an understanding of the plight of women in their 30s are now the men they choose to date instead of the entire male side of the human race. It's even worse for women who have an obsession with having babies. They don't care how they can get one because they want a child so desperately. They will sleep around unprotected and claim to be taking the pill when they are not. I met a man who had 3 children in 3 years with 3 separate women, all of whom claimed to be taking the pill. He is currently supporting 2 children and residing with the lady who gave birth to his 3rd child. I used to believe that once their friends started having babies, a lot of ladies my age would start having children as well, especially in the group of individuals I hang out with. Many of my female friends who are in partnerships and are in their mid-30s have decided against having children at all. A lot of the ladies in groups of 10 to 15 who hang out together choose not to have children. Due to the fact that these 35-year-old ladies are still partying and clubbing as they did in their 20s, the few women who did have children are no longer accepted into this particular social circle. I find it revolting that women go to cougar clubs in an effort to meet 25-year-old males. Most of these 25-year-old males only worry about getting laid, which severely undermines the self-esteem of many women. However, they don't seem to give a damn. They want to continue the party for just a little bit longer before they reach middle age because they need the attention of young, handsome men. Many women experience the second wall in their early to mid-40s, and by that time, many have lost the capacity to entice even 20-year-old gentlemen who are only interested in physical intimacy. They typically begin gaining weight and enter menopause at that time. Asian and Black women age more slowly than white women, yet once they start to lose their beauty, many of them age rapidly. In the space of a few years, a 38 or 39-year-old Asian lady may transform from looking like she's 29 or 32 to looking as if she's in her early 40s. I may not be seeing the wall that appeared 10 years before she turned 40 since I am a white dude. If I'm incorrect, do let me know. This is simply my observation, and I'd be interested in learning more about this specific issue. Because women have historically had the reproductive advantage when it comes to passing on their genes, they typically reach maturity earlier than men do when they are teenagers. This is because the earlier women reach maturity, the better the chances are for the survival of our species, particularly during periods in our history when resources were scarce. However, because they flower earlier, they will also wither earlier as well. Women are more likely to be drawn to men who have access to resources and money, and intelligent men who put in the effort and save money will only grow more appealing to women over time. Men, on the other hand, are drawn to women because of their capacity for reproduction. The aging process can be compared to a game of poker full of deception and other types of misdirection where both sides are involved. For example, if a man and a woman were playing poker in their early 20s, the man starts with 1 chip and the woman has 90. But by the time they are 35, he has 85 of those chips and she has only 6. Your financial resources have a significant impact on your status and alternatives in real life, just like in poker. More women than men that I am aware of wasted their money rather than saved it when they were young. They would go on trips, purchase shoes, have supper out a couple of times a week, and hang out a lot with their pals. When they are in their mid-30s, they would also spend a lot of money on makeup and cab fare. I've come across women who are deeply indebted from credit card debt and student loans and are searching for a wealthy man to bail them out. Numerous ladies I know have openly admitted to me that they are looking for a sugar daddy to assist them in paying off their debts. For women, the aging wall can be a huge psychological blow. Men experience aging somewhat more slowly, and once they reach their mid to late 30s, they are more open to dating a variety of 20-something women. The majority of the cards and poker chips in the new dating game are in the hands of my single friends. But since I recently made many of them aware of MGTOW, they are quitting the game and pursuing their own happiness instead. So, it's not a question of how fair or unfair it is for women to mature early and reach their SMV saturation point in their 30s. I think it's more a question of how women are rarely ever receptive to the reality that lies ahead of them. The reality of age, the reality of beauty, the reality of life. It's constantly evolving for both men and women. Men tend to embrace things as they are. For men, it's a little harder to do so. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel and like the video.